Before we start this video, I just want you to know, I really pride myself in like looking presentable. At the same time, I have slept in this shirt for the last 4 nights. I'm so excited about today's video. Yeehaw, cowboy! I made a post to my Instagram asking my followers just to ask me something. And I just wanted to help some folks out. You guys freaking delivered. You asked some amazing questions. Let's do this. All right, Happy Hiking Couple wants to know, if you were to choose 50 miles of the PNT to re-hike, which ones would they be? Ugh, I love that question because it is such a challenging question to answer. Number 1 would be Glacier National Park, and I feel like anyone who has done the PNT will tell you Glacier National Park. Pictures don't do this place justice. It's phenomenal. Secondly, I really loved the North Cascades. Just hiking right next to a glacier, but excellent question. If you had endless finances, where would you travel and why? Space. I would go to space. What is the toughest hike you've ever done? Mount Whitney. Oh.
It's really, really hard.
Mount Whitney itself is 14,505 feet, and that elevation really affects you. I just felt that extreme nausea coming over my entire body. Just sucked it in and got to the top. Since then, I've done it about 4 more times, but the first time was killer. Tess wants to know, best pooping technique while backpacking. Right when I graduated college, I blew out my knee from a sports injury. So in my left knee, there are 2 pins. That left knee is so weak. I actually have to hold a tree and like do this like squat thing. I basically feel like I'm stripping in the woods. Like I'm totally just like getting naked and just like grinding up on this poor tree. On the PNT, how did you deal with the solitude? I welcomed that shit. Solitude is one of the reasons why I wanted to do the Pacific Northwest Trail. I wanted to be alone because that scared the shit out of me. Let's keep this rocking and rolling. What are you doing? What are you doing? I can see you. I can see you waving your hands at me like a maniac. You want to ask me a question? Okay, this is it. You get 1 question, okay? 1 question, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my assistant Dina, who feels like she needs to be on camera. Hello world. Oh my God, these lights are so bright. I feel so famous. Okay, all you're gonna do is just read the question. That's all you gotta do, just read the question. I'm a little nervous. Just read the question. Read the question. Okay, this question's from the whimsical woman. Oh, I love her. She's so dirty like me. Oh my God. Okay, how many shots of tequila would it take for you to do naked cartwheels in public? So dirty! That's your question, Jennifer? The answer is 0. I will do naked cartwheels in public completely sober. Oh, you both are so dirty. I love it. I love being dirty. That's it. Off with you. Let's go. Move, move, move. Okay, goodbye world. I'll see you soon. Love, Dirty Dina. All right, that was Dina. Sorry about that. That was a little weird. She just needed to be on camera for some weird reason. Jody wants to know, out of all the things you have done on trail, what have you done that felt the most freeing? Years ago, I went to Australia by myself. I found myself at the northeast section in a small town called Cairns. I got invited to go on a scuba diving boat, and we went out to the Great Barrier Reef. I got some scuba diving gear on, and I just went out to the middle of the water, and the sun was setting, but then under the water were these majestic, beautiful cliffs. I just laid there in the water, and I was just floating for like 30 minutes. It was an amazing feeling knowing that there was nothing below me, and there's nothing above me except open sky. I think that was the most at peace I think I have ever felt. Excellent question. What food do you take on a thru hike? I personally really stay away from those instant backpacker meals where you just add water and you zip it up and you let it sit for like 7 to 10 minutes. They have so much sodium and it just rips up my stomach. I personally love macaroni and cheese and tuna fish mixed together, couscous with dried vegetables. But then I also love tuna fish, avocado, and tortilla. Moving along, coffee or tea? 100% without a doubt, coffee. I really appreciate a good cup of coffee. I do a lot of photography for a coffee brand called Sapana, which is run by a couple of my friends. All the proceeds for the coffee go to fueling humanitarian efforts over in Nepal, and they get their coffee beans from the foothills of the Himalayas. So if you want to hop on the coffee bandwagon and start drinking better coffee, I put a link in the description below. What kind of camera do you use to take your photos while backpacking? do you pack it? On the Pacific Northwest Trail, I just used my cell phone in a DJI Osmo Action. My big camera, which I'm using to film this video right now, I use a Canon 5D Mark IV, and then I have two main lenses. It's a Canon 16-35 and then a Canon 50mm. That camera body and those two lenses are what I travel with. That's what I shoot a majority of my stuff with. When I do take this on trips, I just wrap it over my neck and it just hangs on my side. Usually gives me neck problems, but it's worth it for good footage. I think we need to go on a little field trip. Get out a little bit. Are you ready? Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Woo!
Oh yeah, this is a little bit better. It's a little bit chilly. Me and Maddie, we're on the top of Sandstone Peak in the North Santa Monica Mountains. All right, here we go, next question. Are you ready? This is from Jeremy Hack, wants to know, how is hiking in grizzly country on the PNT? Scary as shit. That's all I gotta say about that. This is by far one of my favorite questions. Here we go. I'd love to hear your poems about pooping. Maddie has a haiku, a poop haiku she has specially written for you.
A brown waterfall, flowing like an ocean tide. Diarrhea blows.
That was actually quite romantic. Dude, a poop haiku on the top of Sandstone Peak. Can't get any better than this.
I'm sorry, Mount Allen.
This is a good day. Look at her face. All right, here we go. Back to the studio. Back to some more questions. Back to you, Diana.
Continuing on with the questions. Let's do this. I have a bunch of old gear for my first through hike. Any suggestions for cheap, good gear? Good gear is never cheap. I personally will never purchase a tent, a sleeping bag, or shoes cheap. I will actually invest money into those because they are very important to me. So you want to invest in certain things. I personally right now wouldn't buy my clothes at a store like REI. I just can't afford most of the clothes. I love the men's section in both Costco and Target. Let me just grab this really quick. I just got this jacket at Costco for $50. This is an Eddie Bauer jacket. I recently read an article in Bearfoot Theory. They picked their top backpacking products in 2021 if you're on a budget, and I actually agreed with a lot of their picks. I'm going to link that article in the description below if you want to check that out. Do you bring animal protection, bear spray with you on the trail? I don't actually. I prefer to wrestle the bear, Fight Club style. Next one. Jessica wants to know, have you ever disregarded a piece of gear and then changed your mind? 100%. I have quite a few that fit this criteria. But the one piece of gear I'm gonna talk about is my pack. But usually backpackers, they get those big heavy bags and they get with all the compartments and you could stick all your knickknacks and your knickknacks are hanging off the side and you're just like, rah! When you're going for distance, you need something compressed, small. Something that's gonna fit perfectly on your back. My pack was from a company called Waymark Gear Co. Let me just show it to you, it's right here. It's frameless, no frame in the back. It folds up, literally. So over time, as I continue to use this pack, I got it down to a science of what I needed to be comfortable. It forces you to become a minimalist, and you really don't need half the gear you think you need. Next question. My best backpacking stories involve pooping. Tell me yours. I have an amazing pooping story where I actually pooped my pants in front of a celebrity's father, but I will not tell that story on camera. I will only tell it to you in person. RJ Veggie Burger, if we ever meet, I'll tell you that story. When were you the most afraid while solo backpacking and how did you get through it? The most afraid I ever was while sleeping in my tent was in Washington. At night, I heard this intense scratching and fighting right by my head, and I didn't know what animal it was. My heart was pounding. I thought it was two wolves. Put my headlamp on, grabbed my knife, grabbed my bear spray. My heart unzipped my tent. I popped my head out, and the noise stopped. Got out of my tent, crawling on the ground, and I shined my light, and there was this little rat. And he just popped up and he was eating something. It turns out behind me, there was about 15 to 20 rats and they were like building like a fortress of some kind. And I was like, you better shut up. When they saw me, they all ran away. I'm really out of breath for doing that. What kind of music do you listen to? I love the classic rock. I love Led Zeppelin and Bruce Springsteen and Bob Dylan and the Rolling Stones. And then just completely out there, I love composers. My three favorite composers are Steve Jablonsky, Hans Zimmer, and Max Richter. If you've never heard any music from Max Richter, it's just freaking phenomenal. Songs like On the Nature of Daylight, and I'll link it in the description below. Have you always been so fearless, or the mountains brought it out in you? I'm rather fearless because I was tired of being fearful for so long, and you kind of make that decision like, I don't want to do this anymore. So one day I was just like, I'm going to shift my thinking. So instead of focusing on what's fearful about it, I'm going to focus on what's exciting about it. As soon as you allow yourself to let go of fear and really bring in those thoughts of, this is gonna be pretty wild and I'm super excited about it, your whole world will change. All right, that's all I got. Thank you so much to everybody who asked me a question. I had a lot of fun making this. If you have any more questions about anything I talked about in this video, just leave me a comment below. Like, I'm really working on my art wall. It's really gonna extend both directions. It's gonna be like really wild, but it's a work in progress.